Move out the way, Ice. Move out the way, man. Your head is in the way.
Oh man, I'm gonna get that screen. I'm gonna have another one though.
Look at
We
those
should all get
eyes.
a green screen Rihanna as it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How many days?
88. 88. Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the Goon Squad. It's Black Thor, Icewater, and Puma. 88 days to the Rihanna halftime Super Bowl show. We're going to start off with topics with the NBA. And one of the things I'm noticing, Ice, is that Wiseman is being sent to the G League for an extended stay with the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors hadn't won a away game. I think they're 0-7 in an away game. They play Phoenix as we're taping the show tonight. And there's been some other surprises in the NBA. What is your eye test of the NBA, sir?
Well, let's start with Wiseman right there. He has to find a way to be a force on that team, or really at least matter on that team. Right now, he's trying to find his way. And one of the things they think that will be the best thing for him to do that, to find his way, is to go down to the G League and work on his game so he feels comfortable. Because right now they had put him in the game. He may not understand what's going on, or he may not feel real comfortable in the setting with the guys that he's playing with. So he needs work. He needs work on his game. He needs to feel comfortable. So I don't have a problem with that. I think it's one of the best things. And it also shows him too that, hey, big fella, we really need you. But right now, with them, the way that they're losing games, they don't have the room to just put him out there and let him learn. So I think that's part of it. In regards to the rest of the league, what can you say about Boston? You got to give them some love leading the East, the way that they are, despite losing their coach. They're playing really strong. They're taking all comers. Same way with Milwaukee. Got to give it up to them. You know, even though you're losing one of your top shooters and top scorers on your team right now, says a lot about them. Atlanta's in third. I'm like, wow, is that going to last? What's going on there too? It just makes you wonder. Just makes you wonder whether or not they're going to hang around that way too. I'm gonna move to the West, but Portland is right there at the top of the division right now. But Golden State being number 11 right now just kind of blows me away. You just kind of wonder how that's going to last. And we already know the Lakers are 14 in the West, number 14. Wow, they won 3 games. 3 games. But I will say one thing, and I get off this on my last comment of the NBA. Tried to tell y'all early enough. All you had to do is put Russell Westbrook on the bench from the beginning and let him get his feel. Because now one thing we know as I move out the way, Westbrook is not the problem because he balling off that bench. Should have done that when he was in the Hamptons when you met with him. Should have told him from the beginning, yo, bro, you coming off the bench. Now he's in his comfort zone. He giving them 20 and 10, all kind of other stuff. So it's not Westbrook's fault anymore. Look.
Well, to me, Black, it looks like you got an old team, can't play defense. You got a mixture of young guys who really aren't going to be pivotal in them winning anymore. You got Portland leading the West. You have Golden State and the Lakers are under the 10th spot. With San Antonio and Houston, they're all in that cellar together. Denver is playing really great basketball. But when you go back to the East, you have Boston, Milwaukee, Atlanta. The teams we thought they were going to be on the top, Philadelphia, Miami, and Brooklyn, they're like 9, 10, and 12. So what's your eye test of the NBA, sir?
Yeah, to me, what I'm finding, I was watching New Orleans last night, and New Orleans and Memphis. And these are 2 teams you look at and you see so much there. But it seemed like they just can't consistently do it. I know I spoke earlier about the Hawks. Another team, you look at them like, okay, you're waiting. These teams, you kind of wait for them to take off. We kind of, Boston, I thought it might take them a while to hit their stride, but they came out there doing well. I'm a little surprised of Utah, how they're kind of basically playing. And again, Portland, how they're there. But there's some younger teams I thought maybe a year or 2 ago that I might have kind of got things clicking. I look at Dallas. It's the same old thing. You got one guy out there trying to do everything, carry it. So if I look around the league, you have some, decent teams, but it seemed like the teams that I would have expected this year to take a step forward are kind of basically almost taking a step back. I mean, the Lakers, I wouldn't even spend time talking about them, man. I mean, they're a joke, bro. They're going to be a joke the whole season. It won't be long before Anthony Davis is going to stop playing and miss like 30, 40 games. And I wonder if LeBron got another movie coming out. Something's going on. But as far as basketball, I mean, they're a joke, bro. I like what Will Bond said, a while ago. We should not be spending, I'm just saying in general, repeating what he's saying. As commentators, we should not be spending time talking about the Lakers anymore. We shouldn't. I don't care who's on the floor, what's going on, because that team is a mess. And I don't care what anybody says. We know who put that team together. We know who put that team together. He may not want to stand and take recognition for it now, but you put that together, boss. You did. And let's not forget, last year, Carmelo Anthony was on that squad. And who brought him to the Lakers? Here's a cat now thinking about going playing international. Carmelo Anthony, forget about it, bro. Go sit around, find yourself a nice watering hole like the rest of us, and watch it on big screen, bro. You ain't got nothing left. Don't go over there.
Wow. Ice, gonna give you the last word on the NBA, man.
Yeah, he mentioned, Black Thor mentioned Utah earlier. They remind me, and I say this often, about when you look at the Christmas special, the land of misfit toys. But you know what? They come with all of the different players. Like you got marketing that they got casted off. On the real person over there that you really think about might be Connolly. But other than that, you think about Jordan Clarkson, you think about Kelly, Olynyk, and then Colin Sexton coming off the bench, and they're playing hard basketball. I don't know how far they're going to go, but I like their spirit. I like the way that they play real hard, and they're giving you all that they have. And sometimes that's refreshing to watch in the NBA, particularly with all these large salaries and people thinking they can play together, because it takes sacrifice to be successful when you have a bunch of superstars together. It takes a lot of sacrifice to get that done if you want to be successful. Lakers. Oh, I didn't say that, did I? My bad.
College football. Black Thor, give me an eye test on college football.
I like where things are going now, man. We have some new people arriving to the party, right? Maybe going to the dance. TCU. Here we go, man. It seemed like, there's some teams hanging around 7 to 8, USC, that they might find their way in. They just might find their way. I was hoping that Alabama would have lost 3 straight. Oh, man. I lost 3 games, not 3 straight. Oh, I think they would have to carry Saban out on the stretcher. I really think they would have just kind of stretched out. They'd had to carry him out that way. Ole Miss, they tried, but they're just not ready yet. To me, the rest is going to be really good, because we know at some point Ohio State's going to play Michigan. I'm assuming Ohio State's going to win that game. And how are they going to kind of slot Michigan from that point there? Are they going to basically throw Michigan away? Tennessee, even though they look impressive this past week, I don't, at this point, I don't necessarily trust them if they're in the top 4. But I like how things are looking. Georgia's going to really be strong. Even if they lose, I think Georgia still deserves to be there. So I like it, man. The season is getting to be real good. I'm happy that some other teams may have an opportunity, even if they don't kind of win, at least sneak in the top 4. And Clemson, good. They're out of the way. We can basically maybe see them in a bowl game. I'm loving that part of it.
All right, so I'm looking at the rankings right now. You have Georgia number 1, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Tennessee at the number 5 spot, who can actually, if they hold court, they can actually sneak in with the result of the game of Ohio State and Michigan, can sneak into that number 4 spot, with TCU kind of moving up. TCU has a tough game coming up this weekend with Baylor. You have Michigan against Illinois. You have Ohio State against Maryland. And of course, you have Georgia against Kentucky. I don't feel too confident that Kentucky could take them. If you asked me this earlier in the year, I might have said Kentucky may give them a run for their money, but Kentucky's been showing that they are truly a basketball university at this particular point. Give me your eye test on college football, brother.
Yeah, a lot has happened, but it's good though. Ohio State's still not number 1. I tried to tell you. But UConn pop Liberty, man. Damn it.
Yeah. I didn't have the heart to text you. To let you know.
Yeah, Liberty got popped. That's okay. But a lot of close games. For the record, Notre Dame 7-3, bro.
Yeah.
7-3, and they keep moving along. But Oklahoma losing, Purdue beating Illinois. Illinois might win the other side of the division. Might end up in the Big Ten championship game, and they lose to Purdue. It's gonna be wild, mess over there. You mentioned before Vanderbilt defeating Kentucky, Kansas State destroying Baylor, destroying Baylor, which still makes you wonder. Baylor will probably get up for that TCU game, even though they got destroyed. Was it 31-3? And UCLA losing to Arizona. That was a
good game.
Yeah, it was. And then Washington defeating Oregon. So you got to be very careful because a lot of trap games were out there. But coming up, it should be very exciting, as you mentioned before. USC, UCLA. I want to see Kansas and Texas, because Kansas has opportunity to really show that they might be for real in the next couple of years. And Texas really has to try to protect themselves from really going down even further to get a decent bowl game. TCU, Baylor, and one other game I think is going to be really good. Is going to be Utah versus Oregon.
All right. Black, what are the games that you're looking forward to see this weekend?
Believe it or not, man, Ohio State, Maryland. I mean, Maryland may not win, but they take some out of you, bro. When they play you, they kind of take a chunk out of you. And if I'm not mistaken, Ohio State the following week plays Michigan. But they kind of look beyond Maryland just a little bit, enough to just get by and kind of focus more on Michigan. So that's the game that if I had to kind of really kind of zero in on, that's it right there, boss.
All right. I'm looking at some games that I think will be very interesting. I'm rooting for Texas to win their game because that makes TCU's, where they're ranked right now, a little bit stronger. Because if they lose, then there's an excuse to kind of take TCU right out of the top four. So TCU beat Texas. So I don't want Texas to lose any more games at this particular point. So I'm looking forward to Texas kind of winning that game, even though it's going to be a tough game. Don't sleep on Notre Dame and Boston College. Boston College just snuck on somebody last week, and they have nothing to play for. And they're going to play spoiler the rest of the way out. But look, don't sleep on that game. Don't sleep, because Notre Dame just won that game last week against Navy. Just won that game. I know, I'm the hater of the year, whatever. But anyway, another game that I'm looking forward to seeing is Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Even though Oklahoma State is number 24, I'm looking forward to seeing that game. And also, don't sleep on Oregon and Utah late night on the West Coast. That's going to be a good game. And of course, the game is the rivalry game, USC, UCLA. Those games are always jam-packed with excitement, and it's a rivalry game. I'd be remiss in not talking about the tragedy in Virginia, and where a former player who was a victim of hazing shot 3 players from the Virginia football team. They have canceled the games, Black, with this game coming up this week. And tell me what you know about this, bro.
Yeah, you said it, man. I've heard, basically that there was an investigation of a hazing that took place. And I guess the people, when the authorities went to investigate, nobody would talk about it, so the case got closed. There was an investigation that this young man was actually walking around campus with a gun. I think back in September, if I'm not mistaken, and that didn't go anywhere. That got closed as well. So, and it's kind of been said that the gentleman said that he was being bullied. He didn't say, they're not saying by who, but he was saying being bullied. So if you kind of put all that together, you kind of see it kind of land where it lands. And it's just, it's one of those situations where, for us as Black men, we have to, I would love us to see where we can find ways to solve things without taking life. Because, I'm sure he's not aware of this or thinking about this at this present moment. But if you think about him taking those 3 gentlemen, like, imagine what their families are going through. Imagine what his family's going to go through. Imagine what we're feeling. You're in Ohio, I'm in Connecticut, and you're in Illinois, and it's touching us. And it's something about when we see our young men and women, but more of our young men seem to be dying faster and more, just kind of lose their lives for trivial reasons. It hurts us all, man. We all feel something by it. And I don't think, our young cats are thinking about that or probably don't care. But that shows how we're connected. And we need to do a better job taking care of each other, bro. We just need to. We just have to do a better job overall.
Yeah, I know the university we went to, we've seen a couple of tragedies happen on our campus, and it always hits you hard. And it's something that you never forget, even though we've been out of school for a long time. What are your thoughts about this situation?
Really sad, bro. Really sad. Because nobody wins in this situation. I mean, so when you have loss of life, you can never replace that. It's going to affect the campus, going to affect, as Black Thor mentioned, these families. But emotions, man, emotions and things of that nature are just they're hard for a lot of these young men to hold on to. And it's not an excuse for him to do what he did. But with the hazing and everything too, man, we live in a different world because back in the day, that might just been a fight, bro. You know what I'm saying? That just might have been me coming up waiting for you to come off the bus and clocking all three of them coming off the bus without shooting you. That might just be me beating you down. Did I say that? I'm sorry, but me beating you down out of surprise. But on the way things went down that way, it had to be very serious. But it's just unfortunate because you think about football, you think about that too. He was no longer on the team. And for him to do what he did in such a manner, it definitely had to be premeditated, which means he was thinking about that a long time and it was calculated and he did it. And it's like, wow. And nobody was able to reach him because we just live in a different time now. Some people probably like, I never thought he would ever do something like that. We live in a different time. And I agree. We need to find ways to reach out to our young men and also let people know too that there's other ways to do things. There's other ways to do things.
Other ways to resolve conflict or any kind of disagreement. And prayers up to the families and the friends and colleagues of these folks who were injured and lost their life. College basketball started this week, and I'm looking at the rankings. You got North Carolina #1, followed by Gonzaga, Houston, Kentucky, Baylor #5, Kansas #6 without Bill Self, Duke, UCLA, Arkansas, and Creighton. For me, I believe that North Carolina is ranked too high. They should not be #1 right now. I think when it's all said and done, Houston's going to be the #1 team in this country. Those are grown men playing. They should have went farther last year in the tournament. They did not, but Houston's going to be the #1 team. Gonzaga looked a little shaky against Michigan State. So I don't see them really kind of being #1 or getting up in that #1 spot. I watched the Duke Kansas game last night. Duke is a very young team. I think they're ranked too high. Michigan State wasn't even ranked, but the way they put it down last night against Kentucky, I'm pretty sure they'll get ranked by the end of this week. Your eye test, brother, so far.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I don't want to give too much away. You know what I'm saying? to those that might be listening and watching very closely. But anyway.
He watched the game. I talked to him early. He actually watched.
But the Michigan State team is very scrappy. I like the way that Coach Izzo has them playing. I think they're going to be trouble for a lot of people. They may not have all of the superstar talent that they normally do, but I think the way that they play is going to really speak volumes, and it is already the way that they've been winning games. I watched Gonzaga as well too, and it's like Timmy's like the old man out there. He's been sitting around for 49 years, and then you try to put him a bunch with little kids, keep running around. You tell they're out of control. They running into people and bouncing off people, throwing the ball out of bounds and all these turnovers. But I think the coach is like, okay, well, we know that. We're going to settle down from that standpoint. And you mentioned about North Carolina being early, man, they're so loaded. It is just, they're so talented. You just don't know if now that people have film on them, whether or not they're going to be able to hold up all the way through. You mentioned about Houston. The only thing about Houston that makes me a little nervous is they need that guy that can turn it on when at the point, more like a superstar or a guy that can really rise to the occasion. And they're so loaded with guys of the same ilk or the same talent level, nobody really takes over. one team I do think will is going to raise some hell this year, and I think they are ready now because nobody expects it. But as Baylor. Baylor is very talented. You thought they were talented before. They're going to play a lot of good defense. They're going to get after you, and they might come after you where they did the last time that they won the national championship. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm glad the season is here. Let's move forward. And one last thing, got a chance to catch a little bit of Michigan versus Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, I did see that.
And man, Amani Bates, bruh, the transfer from Memphis, if he can stay, minus the DUIs and stay out of trouble, he's gonna be a handful, bro. Because he went nuts. What, 17 in the first half? They lost. Mm-hmm. He's a hell of a talent.
All right, Black. You said you saw the games, bro. Give a report. Come on, baby. The reigning champion. The reigning champion.
It's so early in the season. What, a few days in? I'm not looking at the rankings, man. Like some people are saying, who's high, who's low. Whatever. I just want to see competitive basketball. I had the chance to watch Michigan against Gonzaga, and as was stated, Michigan basically they got some dogs, man. They got some dogs that at some point they will be rated and kind of come up, and a team to keep an eye on throughout the season. Gonzaga's kind of Gonzaga's Gonzaga. Timmy, when you gonna leave? Like you've been there for the past 8 years. But Gonzaga's Gonzaga, I don't think, I think we kind of seen the last couple of years what I can expect of them. I'm a little surprised when you say about the ranking of North Carolina, man, but if they have the talent, why not? Why not be there? I'm happy in a sense because if you think about it, and I even watched him play, Hubert Davis, man, stepped into some big shoes, bro. And we didn't think he was going to be able to, do what he did, especially after some of the things he said. But he's been carrying it, bro. He's been carrying it. If I'm not mistaken, he got awarded a new contract not too long ago. But a team that we haven't talked about, and I, we read this before the season started, was Georgetown. Is Patrick Ewing going to make it through the whole season? Because I think they're on a serious losing streak, bro, to where he may not be around much longer when the dust kind of clears. So I'm happy the season started. If I don't watch a lot of games, it is what it is, because I could basically tune on the ice and find out what's going on. So I feel like when I don't see a lot, I can feel them pretty good. Well, I'm gonna try to watch more games this year, man. I want to kind of be a little more involved, hands-on, and kind of catch more.
Yeah, you made a great point about Georgetown with Patrick Ewing, man. I'm really surprised. It's like days of grace with him, man, because he's not turning out the program that I think he wanted to turn out. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but man, I'm really kind of disappointed. Maybe in the recruiting, I'm not sure what's going on with Georgetown at this point. I expect them to be one of the top 15 teams at least in the country, and it's just not happening.
Well, think about it early on when Patrick took over. He was getting a lot of top-notch recruits, but now things have changed. Probably the personnel's changed on the staff. People are seeing it for what it is. You saw a lot of transfer, a lot of movement, and he can't really turn the corner in getting guys to buy back in. I think part of that is with him being at the time, he was such a brand new head coach. That's why I think that you have to have quality assistants, people that really understand it, so he can kind of get his feet put his feet down and really get a hold of things. That's a lot going on for a guy at that level. I mean, he's a great player, but when you have a coach, if you don't have good assistants, I don't give a daggone who you are. You're not going to win, bro. Everybody got to be on the same page. That's why I thought he should get some quality assistants. But right now, like you said, he's just kind of treading water. Because unfortunately, as great a player as he was, sometimes because you're a great player doesn't mean you know how to teach and help guys mentally transform and take their talents on the court so they can be successful. It don't always work that way. It just does not, just because you're a great player.
All right, Black, what's your first question, man?
I didn't get a chance to kind of really speak on this last week, so I kind of bring it back again, and I want to kind of put it in a different way. But if we can take anything away from what happened with Jeff Saturday, how the job became available to him and how he took the interim job, and if we could take anything away, one thing that we can pull from that, what would it be?
Ice?
I would say that, as it has been stated before, the NFL coaches, NFL teams mostly know who the hell they want to hire. Mm-hmm. So you can put the Rooney Rule all you want to up there, but they want somebody, it's what it is. So they'll go through the process, but at the end of the day, that's what they want to do for the most part. They'll throw a casual name in there, even if they have to bring a guy from the back, from the coat room. That's what they want to do. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I said last week that the Rooney Rule is a joke. We say it every year. I say it every year at the end of the season when the coaches get fired and now who's the hottest black coach. It's a joke. Well, I was watching a rant by Bill Cowher, and I agree. You got all those coaches, assistant coaches, all those folks who vested time in this. And he said, regardless of whether this guy comes in and wins or loses, it's a slap in the face of the coaches who really put the time and effort and want to be coaches, and you just pick whoever you want. These owners, I said it before, they pick whoever they want. They don't care about any Rooney Rule or any kind of procedures. They own a team. You're not going to tell them who to hire. So, this is what happens. And now it's a kind of a black eye on the coaching fraternity in the NFL, if you ask me. Black?
I want to go right where you said about Bill Cowher, because I agree with his rant. But for the first time that I can remember, white coaches are feeling what black coaches have been feeling for, assistant coaches have been feeling for years, bro. You got looked over. The three coaches on that staff, assistant coaches on that staff, Fox is one of them, and they all have coaching experience. And they looked you in the eye, or looked above your eye, looked above your head, and said, no, we don't care. And that's what black coaches, to me, has been experiencing. Our assistant coaches been experienced for years. And for the first time, white men in NFL felt it. And that's part of the uproar as well, because they got overlooked. Well, I'm here, and I have this. And it's like, no. So at the end of the day, realistically, if a man or owner decides, I want to hire someone that works at Winn-Dixie, he owns the team. And the NFL allows him to do such, man. And that's what it is, bro, at the end of the day. Because you can't tell me right now, Vegas right now is not regretting hiring that idiot they got walking sideline. You can't tell me. But for some reason, he fell in love with him, regardless of anything else, Rooney Rule or anything else, or better quality people out there. The hire is what he liked. And at the end of the day, that's what these owners are doing, man. Jerry Jones hired homeboy for the coach that's right now with the Dallas Cowboys because he liked him because what? He can control him. Jerry Jones will hire no one unless he can control them in that position. So it is what it is, man. But that's what I kind of pulled away from it, especially when I heard Bill Cowher said that. It's like, yeah, that rage he's speaking of, guess what? Black assistant coaches and black men been feeling that for years. Years.
Ice, your question.
Yeah, it's been a week. So we've seen a lot of things happening. Your thoughts about the Kyrie situation in the NBA?
It's so funny. When it first happened, I said to Fuma, bump Kyrie Irving, bump him, realistically. And this is how I felt about when it first came down. Was it unjust? But to me, a lot of these NBA players, when Kaepernick was going through, they turned their back on Kaepernick. So I turned my back on Irving when this basically happened. But when it came down to what they were asking him to do, I'm happy that some people found a way to stand up and go, no. They had voices and had platforms, and this is way too much. I think sometimes, too, we got to be careful. I said, people that look like us. LeBron, if you're not fully understanding the gravity, shut your mouth, bro. Shut your mouth. Stop trying to appease to a certain side, whatever the case may be, and it's none of your business. Shut your mouth. But I will say this about when I look back, the one thing, and I'm not saying it could have made a difference, and I think basically what's going to happen, that list is going to went away. Mm-hmm. They're basically trying to give him more time off. I think he's coming back this Sunday, and they kind of get around that because the pushback was just way too severe. The union got involved. But I will say this about Kyrie Irving, and I think sometimes these players need to understand. When the owner calls you and wants to talk to you, bro, you got to pick up the phone. The man tried to contact Kyrie Irving several times. Now, you may not have to, if you disagree, you can disagree with him, but he should not be calling you. This man signs your paycheck, bro. You dribble a basketball. I'm just keeping it real. You have to understand, if he's calling you, he's running the team, bro. He has a lot to deal with. At least listen to him. At least But to basically act like I owe nothing to anyone, that arrogance catches up with you. And I think that's where, in my opinion, that's part of the problem where Kyrie finds himself, with everything else being said. But I'm glad they're basically I'm hoping they took some of that stuff away at the end of the day. But again, if you decide when one of us is out there basically doing what's right for what we may deem as lesser, when you decide to take your millions and act like your millions and act like it doesn't exist, when something happens to you and you're outside in the cold, bump you.
Yeah, I said a lot of stuff last week. Go check last week's show about how I felt about it and how I still feel about it. And one of the things that I urged people last week, and I still urge people to do today, is two things. Watch the documentary. It's 3.5 hours long, but it's worth it. And you tell me whether or not what he's being accused of is true. The other thing is look up the word Semitic and tell me what that means. And so when you're calling somebody anti-Semitic and you don't know what that word really means, the word Semitic, then you haven't done your homework and you should just be quiet and not say anything and do your homework, do your research, and don't just go off the talking heads on the news and how they're trying to push the narrative and push labels on people, because they've been doing this for many, many years to discredit anything that anybody says about a group of people. So do your homework, do your research, and find out the truth for yourself. Ice?
Yeah, just watching how things develop was kind of bizarre to me. I mentioned before that I thought it was only the right thing for the Player Association to step up and do what they need to do. I think they got involved. I think also too the commissioner was involved, who is Jewish, right? And he came out and made the statement about Kyrie not being anti-Semitic, and then he just kept moving on. And what we found out too is so many people were on it, were on the other side of just like bashing Kyrie, saying he's stupid. People that have much stature and big platforms, and they had to eat those words. They had to go backwards because once they really found out what was happening and what was the truth was being told from what was happening was put out there, they had to back up. And one of the things I noticed too was, we had people like Minister Louis Farrakhan that came out and made this statement and started telling some truths that made people uncomfortable about who the original Jews were, right? And that was like, you pulling back the curtain. You're not supposed to pull back the curtain now, sir. And we know who you are, right? We know how we feel about you, certain people do. But when you pull the curtain back, that's what it is. You've got to see who the wizard was. Pull the curtain back. It's like, wow. But I said, okay. And then all of a sudden it started to, you might a couple more games, but we're going to figure this out. So you don't hear about that $500,000. You don't hear about this other stuff. You got to go and make somebody feel good because they thought you were going all against them. But again, when you pull the curtain back and it showed you about when we talk about the Hebrews and whatnot, you find the real truth, people like, they ain't supposed to know that.
Yeah.
They ain't supposed to know that. That's real hit. What?
Yeah.
Well, just all right, we're done. Okay, thank you. Let's move forward, guys.
Update from last week. I was trying to buy the book by Louis Farrakhan, The Secret the secret relationship between Blacks and Jews. Last week, the book cost $2,500. This week, it's not even listed. Black, got another question?
Well, I'm gonna say I love I think in reality, man, I think there's certain things in life that happen. We all know everything. We believe and strongly believe everything in life happened for a reason. And even in this, Kyrie doing this, how everything took place, how everything kind of rolled itself out. Like Ice just said, if you stand back and you watch how everything kind of opened up and revealed itself, you had to go, whoa. You had to go, whoa. Because as Mr. Farrakhan started speaking, saying some things that a lot of people didn't know, had no idea about. And it gave them the idea. It almost like set the stage for him to walk out on it and say what he had to say. And if you notice, no one has challenged him. No one has challenged him. So sometimes, man, when things happen We look at, one side of it, but we look at it broadly. We look at it, it moved things along in a sense. All this moved things along. And like I said, now they're trying to scramble and try to, okay, we going back on the court, they want things quiet to go away. But at the center of this, in my opinion, was the scaredness or the fear. It wasn't about being anti-Semitic. It wasn't about being all that. In my opinion, the fear was based on him tweeting, a simple tweet, bro, that he deleted. How much money are we going to lose? Sometimes that's the common denominator. Well, advertisers pull back. With US viewers, if we don't punish him and slap him down hard, what are we going to lose? In my opinion, I think that's what's driving, what drove him, all that big list. You got to make people feel like, oh yeah, you punished him in order to keep me paying attention. So maybe that's not a question. Maybe that's just my commentary for that.
Yeah. Ice, you got a response to that?
Yeah, no, I can see that. And a lot of times we know that money's is the basis for a lot of things. And when you go under the surface, you go like, okay. But then other two, I think the biggest thing for me is, besides the money aspect of it, is the factor that I think a lot of people were shocked and surprised when everything was revealed. It's like, oh my God, they weren't supposed to find that. They weren't supposed to tell that. And somebody like Farrakhan, he's looking for an opportunity to be like, see, it's not all about me. It's just the truth, which it is the truth when you go back and do the research and whatnot. But coming from somebody like that, it was just like, wow. And as you mentioned about in the documentary, there's some things in there where people are quoted and say the same thing, but because of the source that it came from, it would never be received.
Right.
Yeah, right. Because of the source, it will never be received. It's like, whatever they say, it can't be any good. But sometimes, no matter what the source is, the truth still can be the truth. And it can be very hurtful and can be very revealing.
Yeah. Your question, Dice.
Are you excited as I am still about Rihanna in 88 days?
Am I? Go ahead, Black. You answer first.
I can't say I'm as excited as I was when I first heard about it. I see she got, what's so funny about it? It seemed like everything is turning towards Rihanna. I think she has a new song coming out. Lately, I've been seeing she's selling these onesies. I'm thinking about buying one, actually. They got like these onesies and things she's selling. It's like everything is kind of leading toward Rihanna. And I'm not mad at you, baby. It's your time. It's your thing. Go do your thing. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to say this to you. You ain't even got to sing. You ain't got to dance. Just walk on the stage. Stand on the stage. Let the camera go around you and around you. And let your music play. I'll be just as happy.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's what I'm looking forward to in the Super Bowl. I don't care who plays in the Super Bowl, to be honest. Just have a concert with her. It's fine with me. But am I excited? Oh man, I started to cuss when you said that. Am I excited? Rihanna's coming. I can't wait. I'm counting the days, man. Every week I'm updating the days, man. So yeah, I can't wait till she gets on stage. This is one Super Bowl halftime show that I will not miss. I don't care who's with me. They're gonna have to take me as I am. I'm gonna be like a Little Richard said, a white girl in church, yelling and screaming and all that other stuff like I'm losing my mind. So yeah, Rihanna, yeah, I can't wait. 88 days, and next week it'll be 81 days. I am counting the days, baby. Ice.
Yeah, I had to just say I haven't seen you this damn giddy about football forever. Since we started this show. I'm serious. Even when you won the NFL picks, he wasn't this damn.
I wasn't this happy.
Wait. What's NFL picks he won? Let's be accurate.
It was years ago.
Look, it's kind of like the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Anyway,
yeah. I won the NFL picks and then the AAFL.
I forgot about that.
Okay. Look, what Triple A?
Oh,
rolling that year.
Triple A championship. Like I told you, I didn't watch one damn game. I just participated because you said that's what we're supposed to do.
Oh man. All right, let's go to our last second shot. Last second shot, Black.
Ooh, I came across this video, man, the other day, and I'm gonna condense this real quick. But this cat was talking about, a white cat was talking about how Rick Ross got kicked off the Reebok. And he says something, I know I said it to you, Boomy, it was real interesting. He said black bait, that America works and round and know about black bait. You say, so what the hell is black bait? Basically meaning if you basically make something highly criminalized, highly sexualized, black people will show up and support it. You got to keep that in mind, folks. That's what they think of you. That's how they market to you. Think about that the next time you're looking at an advertisement for liquor, advertisement for clothes, shoes, anything, music. They realize that that's the bait that you're going to bite and swallow. May not sound good. You look around, it's been damn near very effective. Black bait. Remember that term.
Ice?
Yeah, this can relate to sports or even in life, particularly for men of color. We have a lot of talented athletes that come out every year from high school and going to college or try to go to that next level because everybody tells them how great they are. But the one thing I think a lot of these young men may be missing, and you may not be the person right away that can do it because they might be connected with family, but it's mentorship. I think about that very rationally and very seriously because there are a lot of people out there that just need information and they're never going to get it because they are not able to get it from the right sources. But I think about mentorship and I think about people that really need help, particularly with these young men. And I'd rather see them get this help early instead of they find themselves with a bunch of money and squandering it and losing everything they have within a 2-year period because they know how to take care of their business, which is really sad to me. And then you're working at somewhere else that you don't want to be, and then you're thinking about possibly turning to crime. We got to do better, man.
Yeah. From the genius mind of Richard Pryor did a comedy show years ago, and the clip is on YouTube, where he plays the only Black archaeologist. And they go into a cave up in Egypt, and Richard Pryor finds the Black Book, where he finds that Black people started mathematics, sciences, all this stuff. And he said, I'm going to take this book back home. And then towards the end of the sketch, the white archaeologist shuts the cave down, and Richard Pryor's character is trapped in the cave with the Black Book. The more things change, the more things stay the same. We'll see you next week.